Why is there a hunger strike in front of the City Hall? This affects everyone in the United States, so listen up. Want to know the difference between a corrupt government worker and a magician? The magician returns your watch and your wallet after the performance. Are you a person of color, an immigrant like myself, or another type of minority? Perhaps a single mom, an elderly person, gay, lesbian, or handicapped? Perhaps you're a business owner or simply a property owner. Do you care about your civil rights? Do you care about your wallet? The good news is you are not alone. The bad news is our local government doesn't care about these little things as much as they should. Please watch this video and support the Fix Local Government campaign even if you don't live in Texas, because what's happening in Texas can happen anywhere else. It's just in Texas everything's a little bigger, and that's why we have to be the first to fight against abuse of power and corruption in the overgrown local government. The massive evidence on the CorruptHouston.org website demonstrates methodic falsification of public records, negligence by city employees, violation of civil and economic freedoms of Texas citizens, as well as using Houston's lack of zoning as an escape clause to mismanage traffic and as a result to hurt business owners and property owners, to economically and racially discriminate, to redline city neighborhoods, to harbor incompetent and negligent personnel in the city's Department of Public Works and Engineering, and specifically in traffic operations and in public works sections. And finally, to generate excessive traffic ticket revenues to make the city budget look better at the expense of your citizen rights and liberties. Does this story sound too much like the introduction to the debate about removing the stoplight cameras a few years ago? Perhaps. And you can thank Council Member Michael Kubosh for collecting about 50,000 signatures to end that lawlessness. Am I unhappy with Houston Police Department? Not at all. I believe cops are doing a good job in our city. Am I advocating zoning in Houston because it's the biggest city in the United States without zoning ordinances? Not at all. I believe any city can survive without zoning. However, a city that chooses not to implement zoning and therefore lacks objective criteria for classifying each property as either residential or commercial has a financial and ethical responsibility to observe our constitutional rights, including civil rights and property rights. And this is true whether or not your community has a homeowner association or deed restrictions. And that's where our local government has failed, because how else can you explain the city lying to you for 3 years and disposing of and manipulating official public records to eliminate the paper trail and to justify new traffic control devices that were installed in your community without any statistical traffic management basis and without asking for your opinion or permission, or an opinion or permission of your homeowners association? How else can you explain that your local city traffic officials can disallow daytime parking within your block as a measure against so-called unattended overnight parking? This is all in writing on our website. How else can you explain that the city of Houston has the right to change parking signs in front of the home of your admitted and vocal racist neighbors next door without your permission, while the signs in front of your home can't be changed without their approval? Documents that show this are on this website. Or how about restricting parking in front of your home or business because your 27-foot wide street is supposedly too narrow to handle a traffic flow of under 40 cars per hour in all directions combined? How else can you explain that the city takes less than a month to install a new traffic control device within your block on a whim because one person called them to request it without conducting any traffic study, but then takes nearly 6 months or even more to respond to your complaint about it? Better yet, the city sends out traffic investigators at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to conduct traffic flow analysis for early morning hours in your block. And our local government has the tenacity to put this travesty in writing and is not afraid. Or, for example, if you are a business owner, how about the city refusing to issue a block permit to you, unless, of course, your culturally intolerant neighbors sign off on it first, and installing signs to restrict parking near your business during business hours on the false premise that a high school located half a mile away is overpopulated and lacks adequate parking facilities? And what if, after all this, your local government also told you that doing all these things is perfectly legal because A, all these unconstitutional activities are apparently granted to your local government in writing by traffic management rules and regulations and guidelines that they themselves designed 30 years ago, and because B, there's nothing you can do about it. How do you like it? And for the cherry on top, how can you explain that according to at least 3 independent official sources, I'm quoting here, no council member nor their office has direct control or authority over traffic management? That's right, like the CIA and the FBI, Public Works in the city of Houston is now an entity of its own. And one of the deputy directors recently wrote in an official statement, for example, that a city block where over 70% of occupants were business owners has a quote-unquote basically residential area look to it. Dear Mr. Kruger, the director of the Department of Public Works and Engineering in Houston, is this what the future of our beautiful city basically looks like? And if so, where in that strange future do you basically plan to park your spaceship? Dear Annis Parker, the Houston mayor, have you read the local government code? Are you aware that it is your job to investigate negligence by the city hall? Perhaps you didn't know. Well, this is your call for action. Good luck, because based on the evidence I provided on the CorruptHouston.org website, our rapidly growing city is failing at traffic management. And so we need one of two things. Either a major overhaul of all traffic management guidelines affecting public works, traffic operations, and the Planning Commission, or we need to take another vote on implementing zoning in the city of Houston to stop this lawlessness. This is not a prank. Boys and girls, all of this is happening today, and the last thing your local government expects is that you will have the guts and the time to build a website to expose this ugliness and to stand in front of your city hall and declare a hunger strike to stop it. Well, you're in luck, because you don't have to do anything except visit the CorruptHouston.org website and submit your petition, which will take less than 3 minutes, I promise. And that way you will support the Fix Local Government campaign and will demand that the city of Houston stop cheating you of your civil rights and economic freedoms because they want the biggest bang per linear curb foot from traffic ticket revenues. CorruptHouston.org doesn't need your money. We only need your voice. So please check out the evidence section on this website and voice your support by going to CorruptHouston.org/go. and tell others to do the same. Also, please follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/CorruptHouston to stay up to date on the progress of my hunger strike and on my location in the city. I will show up to protest at 7:30 every morning until we fix Houston government together. Come by and say hello and check my weight if you like. I will have a scale with me. And I'm not taking a bite of food 24/7, only water, until our city leadership regroups and starts observing our civil rights and constitutional freedoms. The job that we hired them to do. Government is not a business. Why am I not suing anyone over this? Because this predicament is not about me, ladies and gentlemen. It is about you. I am not doing this to fix my city block. Don't get me wrong, I want to. But my objective is to fix our local government, and that takes a lot more than a discrimination lawsuit against my city or my racist neighbor. Remember, redlining and discrimination and corruption and government negligence can happen and do happen everywhere. So please support our program even if you live outside of Houston and even if you live outside of Texas. Every voice counts. Thank you, and God bless.